you after 60, hurt his ego and he will love you madly. Secret to making him obsessed with you. After 60, a man only ignores you when he believes you already belong to him and won't leave. The more you initiate, explain, give, the more comfortable his ego becomes, and that comfort is precisely what makes him lazy in responding. The only way out isn't holding on tighter, it's hitting his ego in the right place with calm and emotional withdrawal. Welcome back to my channel, it's Vernon again. In today's video I'll share how male ego works in relationship psychology after 60 and 4 calm, non-toxic ways. If you're tired of being ignored, of wondering why men pull away the moment they feel secure, this video will help you understand the psychology men's silence holds and how to shift the power dynamics without manipulation. But before we begin, if you want more wisdom about love, dating, and marriage after 60, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. You'll thank yourself later. Now let's begin with the first insight, one that quietly explains why men often pull away once they feel emotionally secure. 1. He pulls away when he believes you belong to him. When a man believes you are emotionally secured to him, urgency disappears, comfort replaces effort. His ego relaxes and a relaxed ego stops pursuing. After 60, many men have learned one dangerous habit. They stop watering the garden. He stops dick first, takes hours or sometimes days to reply, assumes you'll always be there. So he invests his attention elsewhere. And the worst part, the more you try to fix it by explaining, initiating, or proving your love, the more his ego believes it was right all along. You're not going anywhere, so why should he rush? This is not cruelty, it's psychology. Male ego is activated by the possibility of loss, not guaranteed presence. Think of it like this. A man doesn't appreciate the sun until clouds cover it. He doesn't value your presence until he senses your absence. The moment he believes you're his, he stops seeing you as someone to win and starts seeing you as someone who's already won over. And here's where most women make the mistake after 60. They think the solution is more communication, more expression, more love. But what actually happens is this. The more visible your attachment becomes, the more invisible his effort gets. He is ignoring you not because he doesn't care, but because he thinks he doesn't have to care as much anymore. His ego has done the math and concluded, she's invested. She's not leaving. But you know what shatters that equation when the math stops adding up? When your energy, your attention, your emotional availability suddenly becomes uncertain. That's when his ego wakes up. And when a man's ego wakes up after taking you for granted, panic follows. As the philosopher Schopenhauer once said, we forfeit 3/4 of ourselves in order to be like other people. But in love we forfeit our power the moment we become predictable. Have you ever noticed that the moment you stop chasing, he started noticing? Drop your experience in the comments below. Your story might be the wake-up call someone else needs to hear. But the shift doesn't come from confrontation. It comes from emotional withdrawal. The issue toe. Calm, neutral energy. There's a specific kind of energy that unravels a man's ego faster than anger ever could. And it's this. Calm indifference, not passive aggression, not the silent, peaceful neutrality that says, your absence doesn't define my emotional state. This is one of the most powerful tools in relationship psychology after 60, because it flips the script entirely when a man ignores you, and you respond with panic, explanations, or emotional pleas. You're handing him confirmation that his presence controls your peace. But when you respond late, keep your messages short and warm, and don't mention his disappearance at all. You send a message his ego can't ignore. I didn't even notice you were gone. Let me be clear about what this looks like in practice. He texts you after 3 days of silence. You don't reply immediately. You wait a few hours, maybe longer. When you do respond, it's light, polite, unbothered. No, where were you? No, I missed you. No, why didn't you text back? Just hey, hope you're doing well. That's it. No drama, no demand, no explanation required from him. but also no reward for his neglect. What's happening beneath the surface is this. Anger feeds ego because it proves you're still emotionally tethered to him. Calm neutrality depises it because it suggests you've emotionally moved on without moving away. He expects a reaction. When he doesn't get one, his mind starts running scenarios. Is she okay? Did I lose her attention? Is someone else getting what I used to get? These aren't questions a comfortable ego asks. These are questions a rattled ego asks. Your calm can't be a performance. It has to be real. If you're seething inside while pretending to be unbothered, he'll sense it. Men after 60 have decades of reading emotional undertones. What makes this trigger so effective is the authenticity behind it. You're not pretending you don't care. You're actually rebuilding your emotional center so that whether he shows up or not, your peace remains intact. Nietzsche understood this perfectly when he said, "The snake which cannot cast its skin has to die. As well the minds which are prevented from changing their opinions, they cease to be mind." In other words, if you can't shed the skin of needing his validation, you can't grow into the version of yourself that naturally commands his respect. And when your calm doesn't break, something shifts. His curiosity begins. Trees silent glow up and mirror effort. You want to know what terrifies a man's ego more than anger. Growth he wasn't invited to. When you silently start glowing up, when your life visibly improves and he's not the center of it, his ego experiences something it rarely does: irrelevance. This isn't about posting pictures to make him jealous or writing cryptic quotes aimed at him. That's manipulation, and it reeks of agenda. What I'm talking about is a genuine transformation where you stop waiting for him to make you feel valuable, whether he's watching or not. After 60, this is even more powerful because most people assume life slows down. That reinvention is for the young. But when you start new hobbies, reconnect with old friends, travel, laugh more, post photos where you look genuinely happy and engaged with life, his ego begins to crack. Not because you're rubbing anything in his face, but because the narrative he built in his mind, the one where you'd always be waiting, available, and a little bit sad without him, no longer matches reality. He starts thinking, wait, she's fine. She's more than fine. Suddenly ignoring you doesn't feel like power anymore. It feels like a mistake. And mistakes make a man's ego very, very uncomfortable, especially when a man ignores a woman he assumed would always chase him. When she stops, when she notes that energy inward and upward, he realizes he may have miscalculated her value and his position in her life. But here's the second half of this trigger, and it's equally crucial. Mirror effort. This is where relationship advice after 60 becomes less about games and more about self-respect. Mirroring effort means you match his energy exactly. If he texts once a week, you text once a week. If he's slow to respond, you're slower. If he stops initiating plans, you stop initiating plans. You're not punishing him. You're simply refusing to carry the relationship alone. What this does is restore balance. For too long, he's been able to do the minimum while you did the maximum, and his ego got comfortable in that imbalance. The moment you step back and reflect his effort, he's forced to confront the truth. If he wants more, he has to give more. And if he doesn't give more, he gets exactly what he's been giving, which is very little. Mirroring effort isn't cruelty. It's calibration. It's saying, I will meet you where you meet me, but I will no longer chase what doesn't chase back. You can share this video with your friends, your groups, with any man who needs a wake-up call about what happens when effort becomes one-sided. The issue, let this be the nudge that shifts the power dynamics dating back into balance. But the deepest ego fracture appears when there is no emotional leverage left. 4. Being happy without him. What truly disarms a man's ego is realizing that your happiness no longer depends on him. Not a happiness you perform or use to prove anything, but a calm, grounded peace that exists, whether he is present or not. The issue when your emotional state no longer rises or falls with his attention, his ego loses what it once fed on your reaction, not because you rejected him, but because you stopped revolving around him. Most emotional reactions men respond to are tied to tension and discomfort. Sadness makes his ego feel needed, anger makes it feel relevant, pursuit makes it feel powerful. But genuine happiness gives him nothing to hold on to. When you are emotionally at peace, no crisis, no wounds to soothe, no validation to manage, you become self-sufficient position for someone who once took you for granted. After 60, this becomes even more profound because happiness without him signals something terrifying to his ego. You've realized you don't need him to complete your story. You're writing your own chapters, and he's no longer the main character. He's a supporting role at best, and supporting roles are replaceable. That realization, that sudden awareness that he is no longer central to your emotional world, creates the kind of regret that makes a man reconsider everything. This is why Stop Chasing Men's psychology works. It's not a tactic, it's a shift in your internal reality. The issue when you stop chasing, when you stop explaining, when you stop needing his approval or his presence to feel whole, you reclaim something he took for granted. Your power, and a woman in her power, especially after 60, especially after a lifetime of learning what she will and won't tolerate. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply when he said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. The moment you stop letting his behavior dictate your emotional weather, the moment you find strength in your own company, his ego realizes it no longer. Happiness without him doesn't mean happiness against him. It means you've built a life so fulfilling, so rich with meaning, connection, and purpose, that whether he's in it or not becomes a preference, not a necessity. And when love becomes a choice rather than a need, when your peace is no longer negotiable, you stop being someone he can ignore and become someone he's afraid to lose. You can save this video and return to it whenever you notice yourself slipping into old patterns, over-explaining, over-giving. The issue, let it remind you that after 60, self-respect in relationships isn't optional, it's essential. By now you already know that men don't fear losing the woman who needs them. They fear losing the woman who chooses them. That distinction changes everything. Need makes you predictable. Choice makes you powerful. When he realizes you were choosing him, not clinging to him, and that choice can be withdrawn. The strongest position in love is self-possession. When your happiness, peace, and worth are no longer negotiable, you stop being taken for granted. You become someone he truly sees, often only after you stop being endlessly available to be overlooked. Have you experienced the strange power of emotional distance attraction, where pulling back made him lean in? Share your experience in the comments. Your story could be the breakthrough someone else desperately needs to read. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more wisdom about relationships, boundaries, and emotion. Thanks for watching till now, and see you in the next video.